Ethan lived alone in the forest. His small wooden cabin sat between tall, quiet trees. No roads led there. No neighbors. No one ever came. That's why the knock on the door made him freeze. It was just after sunset. He was cooking beans over a small stove when he heard it. Knock, knock. He grabbed his old pistol and walked slowly to the door. His boots creaked on the wooden floor. The knock didn't come again. He opened the door and found nothing but snow and silence, except there was a box. A large black box sat on his porch. It was metal, smooth, and had strange lines glowing on its surface. It didn't have wheels or handles. It wasn't marked. No name, no label. Nothing. Ethan looked around. No footprints. Number. Ship overhead. Just snowflakes and wind. He stepped closer. The box was warm. He touched it with his hand. The surface felt like glass, but softer. It was humming very low, like a deep sound in the ground. The hum vibrated through his fingers. He backed up. "This is not normal," he muttered. Still. Something pulled him in. He brought the box inside, dragging it across the floor. It was heavy. Too heavy for something that size. Once inside. Stared at it for a long time. Finally, the box clicked. Ethan jumped. The top of the box opened slowly like a flower blooming. Inside was a girl. She was curled up, knees to her chest, breathing slow and shallow. Her skin was a soft purple. Her hair was silver, almost white. She wore a thin cloth over her body, barely enough for warmth. She didn't move. Ethan reached forward. "Hey, are you okay?" Her eyes opened fast, bright blue, glowing slightly. She gasped and backed away from his hand, pressing herself into the corner of the box. "It's okay," he said gently. "I'm not going to hurt you." She didn't answer. Her eyes darted around the room. Her hands were shaking. Chains were wrapped around her ankles, thin, metallic ones that connected to the floor of the box. Ethan reached down and unlocked the chains. They clicked open like they were waiting for him to do it. The girl looked at her free feet, then back at him. "Am I safe now?" she whispered. Ethan blinked. Her voice was soft, like she hadn't spoken in a long time. "You're safe," he said. "I promise." She looked around the cabin. Then she slowly stood up. She was taller than he expected, almost his height. "Who are you?" he asked. She looked down. "I don't know what name they gave me." "They?" She didn't answer. Ethan grabbed the blanket and gave it to her. She held it tightly and wrapped herself inside. He guided her to the couch near the fire. "Do you know how you got here?" She stared at the flames. "They put me in the box. They told me to be quiet. Then they said, 'The human will open it soon.'" "Why me?" She looked at him, eyes full of fear. "You saved the Baron." Ethan sat back. Months ago, during a cargo run through a war zone, he'd rescued an alien noble from a burning ship. The alien had thanked him, said something about returning the favor, and disappeared. Ethan never thought it meant anything. Until now. "They said you're the one," the girl whispered. "So they gave me to you." Ethan frowned. "What do you mean?" "Gave you. I was trained to serve. I don't know anything else." "That's not right," he said, voice sharp. She flinched. He lowered his tone. "Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you." She nodded slowly. For a while, neither of them spoke. Then Ethan stood. "What's your name?" She looked away. I don't want to say the name they gave me. It doesn't feel like mine." "Then we'll find you a new one," Ethan said. She looked at him again, confused, hopeful, and scared all at once. Suddenly, the box hummed louder. Ethan turned fast. The inside of the box lit up. A small light blinked from a hidden panel inside. "What now?" he muttered. He stepped forward. A message flashed on the panel, in alien script. Then, in English, "Gift delivered. Loyalty test. In progress." Ethan's stomach dropped. "What test?" he whispered. Behind him, the girl stood slowly. "I think," she said softly, "they're watching us." Ethan woke up in the middle of the night. It wasn't a sound that woke him. It was silence, complete and heavy. Like the world had stopped breathing. The fire had burned low. Shadows danced across the cabin walls. His eyes moved toward the couch. The girl was gone. He stood quickly, heart pounding. "Hey," he called out. "Where are you?" No answer. He grabbed a flashlight and checked the door. Still locked. Windows shut tight. But the small door to the attic was open, just a crack. Ethan never went up there. It was cold and full of dust. He climbed the ladder slowly. At the top, in the dim light, he saw her. The alien girl was kneeling in front of an old radio. Her fingers hovered over the knobs, but she wasn't touching them. The radio was on. Yet no one had turned it on. It crackled, then played a sound. A song, a human lullaby, one Ethan hadn't heard since he was a boy. She was humming along perfectly. Ethan stood frozen. She didn't notice him at first. Her eyes were closed, lips moving quietly with the words. Then she stopped. Her body tensed. "I'm sorry," she whispered, still facing the wall. Ethan stepped closer. "You speak English really well." "I was trained," she said. To blend in." "You knew that song," she nodded. "They made me study human culture, music, speech, stories, even how to smile." "That's not training," Ethan said. "That's control." She turned to face him. Her eyes looked sad, but not weak. "I wasn't allowed to speak unless ordered. I still feel scared when I do." "Here," Ethan said, "you can speak whenever you want, or not at all. It's your choice." She smiled just a little and looked down at the radio again. "They used this song to test me. If I cried, they punished me." Ethan's jaw tightened. He turned off the radio and led her back downstairs. The next day, she barely spoke. She sat by the fire staring into it. Ethan made food and placed it near her. She only picked at it. "What should I call you?" he asked. She hesitated. "They called me Unit 7F, but I hated it." "You don't have to use that. How about a new name?" She was quiet for a while, then softly said, "Mira. I read it in a story once. A human girl who wanted the stars." Ethan nodded. "Myra. I like that." Suddenly, a strange beep came from the black box. They both turned. The box, still sitting in the corner, now had a new light blinking, a red one. A soft alarm echoed from it, low and rhythmic, like a heartbeat. Ethan approached it carefully. Words appeared again. "Loyalty test ongoing. Subject status unknown." He looked back at Mira. "What does this mean?" Her eyes were wide. "It's not just a gift, it's a trap." "What kind of trap?" "They want to see what you'll do. If you reject me," the box tells them. "If you keep me, they learn more about humans." Ethan's blood ran cold. "You're saying this is a game to them?" She nodded. "I think I was always meant to break, or be broken." He stared at the box, then at her. "I'm not playing." "Their game," he said, but Myra's face was pale. "Then they'll come." That night, after Mira had gone to sleep in the small guest bed, Ethan sat beside the box and studied it. He noticed something strange beneath the panel. There was a hidden slot. A thin metal card stuck halfway out. He pulled it free. It wasn't metal, it was some kind of organic material, pulsing faintly. He turned it over. On the back, something was written in English. "If she survives 1 week with you, she becomes unstable. Be ready." Ethan felt cold all over. He looked toward the bedroom. What had they done to her? Ethan was shaving when he saw it. Soft glow in the mirror, not from his razor, not from the cabin lights. It was coming from behind him. He turned and froze. Mira stood in the hallway, still half asleep, wearing one of his oversized shirts. But that wasn't what stopped him. Her skin was glowing, not all of it, just a few parts. Thin, sharp lines had appeared on her neck, her arms, her collarbone. Pale blue. Almost beautiful, but Ethan didn't feel wonder. He felt fear. "Mira," he said gently, "look at your arm." She blinked, confused, then looked down. Her eyes widened. "No. No, she whispered, stepping back quickly. "What is it?" Ethan asked. She rubbed her skin hard, trying to erase the glow dot. It didn't go away. "I thought they were gone," she said, voice trembling. "I thought they turned off when I left." "What are they?" She looked up, eyes full of terror. "It's a tracker and a brand." Ethan's face darkened. "A brand?" Mira nodded. "Every gift the Baron gave was marked. It proves ownership. The glow means they're watching again. Or worse, coming." Ethan grabbed a towel and gently wrapped it around her arms. "You're safe here," he said. "We'll figure this out." But she shook her head. "No, you don't understand," she whispered. "If the glow returned, it means they've started the second phase." Ethan frowned. "Second phase of what?" "The test." Mira sat on the couch, holding a cup of tea Ethan made for her. Her hands shook. "Each gift is a tool," she said softly. "I was given to measure you, how much kindness a human shows. How long until fear turns to violence or greed?" Ethan stared at her. "They're studying me?" "All of you," she said. "All of Earth." He felt sick. "Does the brand hurt?" he asked. "Not yet," she said. "But if I try to run or fight back, it will." Ethan stood. "We're removing it." She looked up fast. "You can't. It's not just ink or paint. It's inside me, in my blood, in my bones." "What happens if we try?" She looked away. "People have tried before. They didn't survive." That night, Ethan placed a mirror near the box. He wanted to test something. As soon as he left the room, the box glowed faintly. He watched it from a hidden angle. It opened slightly like it was breathing. Something clicked inside it, like it was recording. Creepy little thing. He muttered. Suddenly, the mirror cracked. Ethan jumped. He ran back to the box, but it had closed again. Still. Silent. He picked up the mirror. It was shattered from the inside out. Not from heat. Not from touch. It was like a thought broke it. The next morning, Mira was quiet. Too quiet. She sat by the window, looking at the snow. "I saw a bird today," she said softly. "A real one. Not like the ones in the training rooms." Ethan smiled gently. "There are plenty around here. I hope it doesn't end like the others." Ethan sat beside her. "What do you mean?" "I've been given to 5 people before," she said. He stared at her. "What happened to them?" She didn't answer at first. Then, "They tried to keep me, like you. They tried to protect me, like you, and they're all dead." That night, the glow on Mira's skin spread farther, up her neck, across her back, around her ankle. Ethan could barely hide his worry. Then something new appeared. A countdown. Glowing alien numbers circled her wrist like a bracelet. Ethan used a scanner he had from his trading days. The numbers translated to one word: return. At a timer, Ethan read the digits. They had 72 hours. The snow outside had turned red. Ethan stepped onto the porch and stared at the sky. It was glowing not from the sun, but from a giant ship hovering high above the clouds. Its lights shone down like blood. He wasn't alone anymore. A deep humming filled the air, cold, mechanical and angry. He closed the door behind him quickly. "They're here," he said. Mira didn't move. She was sitting on the floor with her knees pulled to her chest. The countdown on her wrist had dropped to 48 hours. "Not yet," she whispered. "This is just a scan ship. They're watching." "Watching for what?" Ethan asked. She looked up slowly. "To see if you pass." "Pass what?" Her face was pale. "The final part of the test." An hour later, the box lit up again. This time, it spoke. Not out loud, but straight into Ethan's mind. He clutched his head and fell to his knees. A voice filled his brain. Smooth, calm, cold. Human Ethan Rhodes. You saved my life. You were brave, kind, loyal. Now we measure what you are under pressure. Your reward was not a gift. It was a question. Would you protect something useless? Would you fight for something broken? Would you love something that was made to be thrown away? Then the voice faded. Ethan looked up, breathing hard. He turned toward the box. "Baron," he growled. "You liar." Later that night, Ethan found a hidden compartment inside the box. It clicked open with a touch. Inside was a small metal cube, glowing blue. Attached was a note written in English. "Only activate this if she disobeys or runs. It will end her cleanly." Ethan stared at the cube, a silent weapon. A kill switch. He dropped it into the fire. The metal screamed as it melted. Mira didn't speak, but he saw her watching from the corner of her eye. A tear ran down her cheek, but she didn't wipe it away. She knew what he had destroyed, and what it meant. The next morning, the box changed again. This time, it played a video, a message from the Baron. The alien's face filled the screen, calm, powerful, cruel. "Greetings, human. If you are seeing this, then the girl still lives. You've made your choice. You could have turned her away. You could have silenced her. You did not. So now we will measure the next thing. How much pain a human can take before breaking. We are coming. We will arrive in 36 hours. If she is returned to the box, alive and untouched, Earth will be spared. If not..." The screen went black. Mira looked at Ethan. "I should go back," she said. "If I go alone, maybe they'll leave you alone." "No," Ethan said. "You don't understand. The Baron doesn't bluff. He'll burn everything just to prove he can." "Then we fight," Ethan said. Mira stood slowly. "You're just one man." Ethan looked her straight in the eyes. "No," he said. "We're two." He opened an old trunk under his bed. Inside were weapons, guns, shields, grenades, things from old wars and off-world jobs. Mira stared. "You kept all that?" "Didn't trust the piece," he said. "Now I know why." He tossed her a small wrist device. "Shield band. Press the button when they shoot." "I've never fought before," she said. "You don't need to win." He replied, "Just stay alive." That night, Mira had a dream. She was back inside the box. But this time, Ethan was inside with her, and they weren't afraid. The dream ended when a bright light burned through the ceiling. She woke with a scream. Outside the cabin, a shadow passed across the sky, and something began landing in the woods. Mira touched the snow, and it melted instantly. Not from heat. From energy. Her breath came fast. Her heartbeat felt strange. She looked down at her hand and saw small sparks dancing between her fingers. Blue, silent lightning. She wasn't cold anymore. She wasn't normal anymore. Inside her, something was waking up. Ethan was building traps in the woods when he heard her scream. He dropped the tools and ran toward the cabin. Mira stood in the center of the room, hands shaking. The walls around her were cracked. The lights were flickering. The box was pushed across the floor without being touched. "What happened?" Ethan asked. Mira turned to him, eyes glowing a faint silver. "I think I did this." She sat down, breathing hard. "When I was little," she said, "they put wires in my head." Ethan frowned. "Wires?" "They said I was special, that my brain could control machines. They trained me, hurt me when I failed, rewarded me when things moved." "Telepathy?" "No," she said. "Not like that. My thoughts don't control people. They speak to systems, tech, weapons, ships." Ethan sat beside her. "That's why you were humming with the radio," he said. "That's why the mirror broke." She nodded slowly. "It's not magic, it's code, but alive inside me. And now it's waking up," he said. "Yes," she whispered. "And I don't know how to stop it." Outside, snow fell quietly, but The sky above was no longer calm. A ship appeared again closer now. Ethan watched it through binoculars. It wasn't just observing Dot, it was scanning. Searching, looking for her. He returned inside. We don't have long. If your mind can reach tech, can you reach them? Mira looked unsure. You want me to talk to them? No, Ethan said. I want you to lie to them. That night, Mira sat in front of the box. She closed her eyes, took a deep breath, and reached Dot. At first, there was nothing, then static, then signals. She could feel them. Long strings of code searching for her mind. Thin webs of metal thought floating in space. Dot. She followed one string carefully, like a trail in the dark. And then a voice. Unit 7F, confirm life status. She didn't answer. Unit 7F, confirm loyalty. Upload memory logs, still silent. Unit 7F, disobedience will activate ping protocol in 10. She opened her eyes. No, she whispered. I don't take orders anymore. The box shook. Sparks flew. The countdown on her wrist froze. Something was happening. Ethan stood back watching. Mira, he said. What did you do? I spoke, she said. And I shut the door. Suddenly, the black box exploded with light. A message appeared on the wall, not from the screen, but projected through Mira's thoughts. Defective unit detected. Engage purge team. ETA, 24 hours. Ethan read the words. They're sending killers, he said. Mira stood up. I'm not hiding anymore. She walked to the broken mirror, looked at herself. She saw the glowing marks, the countdown, the pain, the shame. Then she raised her hand and wiped it all away. The marks vanished. The countdown disappeared. And in its place, her wrist glowed with a new symbol, one she had never seen before. A small flame, her own. Outside, the ground shook. The barrens. Ships were landing, but this time, Mira wasn't afraid. The sky didn't break open with light. It tore open with sound. A deep, metallic roar thundered over the trees as the first alien dropship slammed into the frozen ground, just one hill away from Ethan's cabin. The trees shook. Snow exploded. Birds flew from the forest, screaming into the sky. Ethan didn't need binoculars this time. He saw them with his eyes. Black armored soldiers, red visors, long rifles. They weren't here to ask questions. They were here to take Mira by force. Inside the cabin, Mira stood with her back straight, hands clenched. She wasn't glowing now. She was calm, focused. The Baron's purge team, she said. Fast, cold, efficient. Ethan loaded a plasma rifle. How many? At least 20, she answered. But they don't care about numbers. They'll burn the whole forest just to reach me. He nodded. Then we'll give them a warm welcome. Ethan triggered the traps he built days ago, mines buried in the snow, flash bombs hidden in branches, MP wires laid across the frozen riverbed. This wasn't the first time he had to defend the place, but it was the first time he was defending someone who had no one else. The soldiers moved like shadows. They didn't speak. They didn't shout. But the ground lit up with their motion. Scanners pulsed across the trees. Heat seekers searched for signs of life. Mira stood behind the cabin wall, eyes closed. She wasn't touching anything, but lights flickered on the enemy helmets. One by one, the red visors short-circuited. Ethan watched through his scope. They're blind, he whispered. Mira opened her eyes. I whispered into their tech. Just enough to make them blink. You're amazing, he said. I'm angry, she replied. The first wave hit hard. A blast shook the front door as soldiers tried to blow it open. Ethan fired through the cracks, hitting two. Mira raised her hand and slammed the door shut. With her mind, wood and metal bent inward like paper. The door sealed itself. She turned to Ethan. You fight outside. I'll control the field. He nodded, then kicked open the back door and ran into the trees. The second dropship landed closer. It opened mid-air. and a new kind of soldier dropped from it, larger, heavier, armed with twin cannons on each arm. Ethan hid behind a fallen tree. Big one incoming, he said into his old cum. Mira whispered back through the device, "Let me try something new." The giant soldier raised its cannons toward Ethan's hiding spot. Then it froze. Stopped. Stiff like a statue. Mira stood far away, both hands lifted. Her eyes glowed white. The metal beast turned and began firing on its own squad inside the ship above. The Baron watched the scene from a dark command deck. He narrowed his eyes. "Unit 7F has exceeded behavioral limits," he said coldly. "Send in the cage." Back on the ground, Mira suddenly screamed and fell to her knees. Ethan ran back to her. "What happened?" She pointed to the sky. A third ship was descending twice the size of the others. It carried a glowing cube beneath it, surrounded by spinning arms. "The cage," she whispered. "They're not trying to kill me. They want to resect me. If that thing touches the ground, you're gone," Ethan said. Mira looked at him, eyes burning. "Then we destroy it before it lands." Ethan grabbed the last EMP bomb from his locker. Mira placed both hands on it and closed her eyes. The bomb began to glow brighter than before. "What did you do?" he asked. "I taught it to feel angry," Ethan grinned. "Good girl." He slung the bomb over his back and ran toward the ship. The cage was almost touching the trees. Mira stood in the clearing, arms raised, holding off incoming shots with invisible waves of energy. Ethan leaped forward, threw the EMP straight into the sky. It struck the cage mid-air. Boom. A blue-white flash exploded across the forest. The cage shattered, the sky went black, and the Baron's ship began to fall. The ship didn't crash. It screamed. A long, sharp sound tore across the sky as the Baron's warship spun through the air, smoking, burning, broken. Trees bent from the shockwave. Animals ran. The earth itself seemed to shiver. Then silence. The ship landed hard in the frozen field, half buried in snow and ash. It didn't move again. Blood on his cheek. Breathing heavy. Mira stood beside him. Alive. Unshackled. Glowing with her own light. Inside the wreckage, a dark figure moved. A piece of metal clattered aside. The Baron rose slowly, armor cracked. Pride shattered, but his voice still cold. "You were not meant to resist," he said to Mira. She stared at him, her voice calm. "You were not meant to lose. You were a test, a tool, a thing." Ethan stepped forward, rifle in hand. "She's not a thing," he growled. "She's a person." The Baron looked at him with disgust. "Humans, so quick to love broken things." "She's not broken," Ethan said. "You are." Mira stepped forward. "No more cages," she said. "No more commands. No more obedience." The Baron raised a hidden blade from his wrist, fast, glowing with venom. But before he could move, his body locked up. Frozen. Like ice in midair. His eyes widened. Mira's hands were raised. Her thoughts were stronger now, focused, full of fire. "You once controlled me," she said. "Now I rewrite you." The blade dropped from his hand, his armor folded in, and then quietly his mind went dark. The Baron collapsed. Unmoving. It was over. Ethan lowered his weapon. The snow began to fall again, soft this time. Peaceful. He turned to Mira. "You good?" he asked. She nodded slowly. "For the first time, I think I am." They walked back to the cabin. Side by side. The box was still sitting near the Kofger fireplace. Silent. Cold. Mira looked at it and smiled. Then she waved her hand and it folded into itself, crushed by invisible force, vanishing into dust. She turned to Ethan. "Thank you," she said. "For what?" he asked. "For not treating me like a gift, but like a choice." He smiled. "You were never just a gift, Mira." Weeks passed. The snow melted. Spring came. Mira helped Ethan rebuild the cabin stronger, safer. She learned to cook. He taught Her howdah laughed. And one day, she stood outside, watching the stars. I used to dream of escaping, she said. And now? Ethan asked from the porch. She smiled. Now I dream of staying.